Hello, it's Katie here, and I would like to invite you to join me on a beading class in which I'm going to teach you how to make 3 really stunning designs for vases made just from Superduos. I say just Superduos, but they're predominantly Superduos. You will be using a couple of seed beads, basic stuff from your stash in some of the designs. In others, I've also given you the option to work with some of the beautiful symbol elements that are out there. So that might be something a bit new for you, but they really add this amazing touch to the design, as I'm sure you will have noticed in the photos. I'm going to show you all 3 designs and some extra options in just a minute, so you can see those actually up close on the camera. But before we get on to that, I thought I'd just say a few more words about how this class works. So basically think of it like any normal beading class in a real-time environment, except that you have the added benefits that you can join in and work along with this in your own time and at your own pace. So if you want to carve out a whole afternoon or a whole day to spend on this and work through everything all in one go, that's great. But you don't have to do that. You can work through this in stages, in whatever chunks of time you have available. Basically, all the materials are there ready for you for whenever you want to use them and for as long as you want to use them. So provided my school remains here on Teachable, you'll have access to all the material for life once you've enrolled on the class. Now, that material covers a PDF tutorial, and that gives you detailed written instructions with diagrams and with step-by-step photos for 3 different designs for these Superduo vases. So I've really covered all the bases just in that tutorial. If you're more of a visual learner, for one of the designs I have literally shown you row by row how your beadwork takes shape. If you prefer working from written instruction, then you've got loads of detail in all of that. And I've also used diagrams to illustrate thread paths at points where that's appropriate. But that's not all. Just as in a normal class, where you would expect the teacher to demonstrate some of the techniques you'll be using, that's exactly what you're going to get in this class. So aside from your PDF tutorial, which you can download and work from at any time, within this class environment on Teachable, you've got a whole section of videos. And each of those is my demonstration of a particular aspect of the project or a particular beading technique as appropriate. Now, within your PDF tutorial, I've given you little prompts to check out particular videos. So you can watch them as you go along, or you can watch them all beforehand. It's really up to you, however you learn most effectively. And again, that's not something that you have to do at a set point in time. It's there all the time, so you can watch those videos as often as you need to. You can pause them, you can rewind them. So all in all, much better than a real live demonstration where you only get to see it once. With these, you can keep coming back and watch over and over. So if you're getting a bit stuck on something, just keep watching the video until it all starts to make sense. Speaking of getting stuck, what with all the video demonstrations and this incredible PDF with so many detailed instructions, I'm pretty sure you're not going to get stuck. But just in case you do, you are also able to leave comments within this class structure. So if you have got a question, just ask it within the comments. If it's a case of I don't understand how this row works, then you can also leave a photo of your work, and I will be able to look at all of that and give you an answer and help you out just as I would in a real-time class. Similarly, you can all see each other's comments. So if you want to chat with one another, that's great. If you see someone else who's struggling on a bit that you have a good tip to share, you can do that. The only proviso is the comments don't come up in real time, they get moderated first, so you might see a delay between writing your comment and watching it appear or getting a response from someone, but it's never a long delay. So all in all, this is the closest you can get to an actual beading class in an online environment, but with the massive bonus that you can go through this class as often as you like. So, I mean, you might do it tomorrow, but then come back and do it in another year's time. And the project, which we're going to look at in just a second, is also just something that's lovely keepsake for yourself, but great gift to share with friends and family as well. And I'll let you into a little secret. These are actually quite addictive to make. You can probably make one in an afternoon, maybe even less time if you're a really speedy beader. And certainly once you've got the techniques down, which by the way are not difficult, then you'll be making loads of these. So last thing, who is this for? Well, anyone really, because you've got such a wealth of information, even if you're fairly new to beading, as long as you are happy to solve a few problems along the way, to accept that maybe things aren't going to go right first time, and to work out how to get through patches that are not obvious, you will be absolutely fine doing this. If you're intermediate level or above, then this is basically peyote stitch. There's nothing difficult in there. Again, because you've got all the videos demonstrating it, you can see exactly what you're doing. And if you're really an advanced beader, I've also given you some ideas and some extra bits that you can play with to turn this into a more advanced project. So again, that's all included in videos once we get on the class. But I think that gives you plenty of information to decide whether this is a kind of format you would like to learn for beading. So I'm just going to move on now and show you in detail the Superduo vases so that you can see whether that's something you'd like to make. And I hope you do, because I'd love to be welcoming you onto the class shortly. Okay, so these are the actual Superduo vases that we're going to be making in this class. You see 4 vases sitting there, but there are actually 3 designs that I'm going to be teaching you. So we've got this first design, which uses these lovely symbol alado elements for detailing. It's well, you can see the shape of vase that it is. I don't think I need to describe that to you. It's about 2.5 inches high and approximately 2 inches across the widest part, just to give you some idea of size. Then we've got a second variation, again with the alado elements detailing. This one again about 2.5 inches high and about 2 inches across the widest part. It's just a different style to it, with more of a neck and more detailing in the pattern. But of course the pattern is something that you can play around with, particularly once you really understand what you're doing and you get to the more advanced options. Then, if you don't want to use the elements, I've got a third design that is made entirely from Superduos. So again, we've got a lot of patterning on there, which I think the camera is actually struggling to pick up the bead colours very well, but hopefully you can get a sense of the design. Once again, that's all something that you can experiment with yourself. This vase is a little bit taller, as you can see, and also very slightly wider. I had to play around with the structure as I was designing this. And this little sample, if I just bring that one forwards here, I've included because although it's the same design, I've actually worked this one using Superduo duets, and that brings a really lovely different dimension to the patterning on there. So that's another option that we're going to be exploring within the class. So with all of those different options, you are basically going to end up equipped to make these gorgeous little vases for friends and family. And because you've got different styles to work with, you don't need to get bored with doing the same thing over and over again. So many different colours you can use, different patterns, as I say, you can experiment with. So this is just such a lovely, well, quite honestly, addictive project that I know you're going to want to keep coming back to. So in the next section, I will go into more detail about the materials so that you know what you need to get in advance of this. But I hope you'll be joining me on the class, as I've said earlier, and I look forward to sharing this beautiful project with you all.